Hey, Deborah, give me a thumbs up, wave at me or something. Let me know you can hear me and see me. Hi, Katia. Thank you for that. Cynthia, hey, I heard you all got a bunch of snow. Hi, Gina. Carola. Hermit on the hill. I love it. Maybe a small class tonight. Everybody's crawled in bed. It's cold and wet and yucky. Well, at least it is down here. Got up nice and warm today. Cloudy, but nice and warm. Drizzly. Now it's cold and drizzly and dark. You're fogged in. Pam needs somebody to come dig her out. She's got snow still. I will say it's been cold where we're at. We're 30 miles outside the Florida border and 24 degrees. Not. Hi, Kathleen. Arthur's just having a field day with all this cold snap. Wow. You didn't get hurt or nothing, did you? Hi, Arlene. Y'all have to excuse me. I don't think there's enough coffee to keep me awake tonight. That's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Well, she had a full tank of gas, so at least she got to stay warm. Well, you're going to have to fill that shuttle up. You're changing thread? Well, that's a good thing, Cynthia. I don't like the cold. We lived in Kentucky, to take care of my mom, but we moved up there from Georgia. For Georgia to get cold like it has this year, that's unusual. Hi, Teresa. Huh. So it only took you to round 9? 5 yards? Hi, Shauna. You made it. That's awesome. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. That's cool. That's cool. Hey, Jeremy. I understood the Greek. Well, I'd rather be something than nothing. So if I can help pass the time that Doug's gone, that'll make me happy. Hi, Carol. It's probably cold like the rest of us, Jeremy. I'm trying to stay awake. I need a pot of coffee, literally a pot sitting right here. Just do it that way. That'd be fine. Dennis won't let me have it. We're dropping, Deborah, like we'll get up to 70 and then we'll drop down in the 20s. It's 40 to 50 degree temperature changes. I mean, we could change clothes 50 times a day just to keep up with the weather. What is that, Arlene? Mm. So if I fall asleep teaching class, y'all just nudge me, okay? It doesn't help that I took my medicine, and it does make me sleepy at the late evening dose. No, I don't want no adrenaline. No, no. Well, I imagine so if you don't have a heart attack from it. Yep, everybody hit that thumbs up. Get our algorithm going here. Hi, Marianne. I'm all congested up. No, I'm not near pine trees. I'm near pecan trees. I'm not allergic to pecan trees. I'm allergic to pine trees. But you'd think I was sitting under some pine trees. Hi, Fred. But actually, it's mold spores from all the moisture. I bet it did. Hi, Karen. Yeah, I've been known back in my younger days when I was more brave than I am now, uh, to drive, and then I would be so tired and exhausted. And I just pull off at a rest area and go to sleep. Where did I get the silicone beads? Cara beads. Cara. I left the link, the bottom of what I think it was the first class that we have when we come back. Yeah, I don't think I showed you the ones I got now. Did I? Nope, I didn't. Let me wheel over here. I need longer arms. I really do. Don't think that's ever going to happen. Okay. This is the grab bag I got this last time. See, I'll show them to you. I get it. I got one, Arlene, you'd like, and this one glows in the dark. I always go for the weird, strange, and unusual stuff. This is weird, strange, and unusual. It fits that category. Come here. You see him? He glows in the dark. He was 69 cents. Got a camper too. See? See my little camper? I like them because they fit crochet hooks. Now these bigger ones, like this is a big rose. Those fit on those great big crochet hooks, like ones you're going to crochet with. They also fit on knitting needles. So you gals that knit might like that. Let's see what else have I got. I got a Santa and a snowman and a unicorn. Got me a margarita. I might need it. And then this one, I got some crosses in it. It was just a grab bag I got. Okay. Somebody's at the front door. Hold on for a minute. Yep, there's a person at my front door. Dennis, see who's at the front door? Well, I got a photograph of him. It tells you. Yep, he's the gnome, Fred. But it'll tell you the size on the beads. Hi, Janella. See, look at this one. And Pam, you'd like this one. See it? Fueled by coffee. Then I got a dog house with a dog bone. See? I got all kinds of nifty ones. Flowers, crosses, plants, cars, clouds, bunny rabbits. You name it. I got it. It's in here. But they work great. And I just go through. I pick the bead I like. Hi, Sue. And then when they come, I fit them to my crochet hooks. Because I use all different size crochet hooks because of the different types of threads that I use. So, yeah, I got quite the menagerie. Janella, I wanted to let you know that Shauna won the bid. $45 for the book. So she won the bid. I noticed you came in after I made the announcement and I wanted to let you know. So, but yeah, I like those little beads. They serve the purpose. This is a Starbucks coffee cup. Okay, with a smiley face. He's got a smiley face. I emailed the wrong address. What? Oh, I know what you're talking about. You should have wrote it in the group. Pam would have caught it. Pam catches everything. That's why I have a Pam. You're welcome. All right. It is 8:05. Now, tonight may be a short class. Depends on how long I stay awake. If I fall asleep, like I said, just nudge me. I'll wake up. All right. We're still working on the hat pattern. All right. We went through everything up to this point on what questions you had. And I think we made it to round 9 on this pattern. And then we came into the rings and bare thread space. Okay. So we'll get back into this, but I want to tell you, starting next week, we're going to start working on our embellishments to go on our hats. You know, we want a little trim. We want to put some 3D flowers on there, that kind of thing, you know, and we're going to start to work on our embellishments for our hat. All right. So that way, when we break, y'all can work on the hat until I get back, because the 22nd of February, we will be moving the rig to Indiana, weather permitting. If there's snow and ice, we will not move the rig. But we're going to Indiana because 2 slide outs, they have to replace. So yeah, we're going to be up there for a while. They said it could take 2 weeks to 6 weeks, depending on how bad the damage is underneath that we don't see. We had what they call a frame flex. Okay. And that happened when we went to Raleigh last year. We thought it was just the brace across the back that was messed up, because all the paradigms had the brace problem. And we got there and they found out welds had broke on the frame. So they had to re-weld it. But when they re-welded it and realigned everything, they found out both slide outs are crooked and they're kinking up. So yeah, both of them goes and new ones get in. So with that said, there may be under damage that we don't know about, like slide skis and things like that. And we can't get under there to see, but they will be under there when they pull the slides out and they'll be able to see. So they'll be fixing all that. We pray and hope that it's just the slides, okay? But we're planning for 6 weeks at least, okay? During that time, I will not have access to the rig. It will be locked up in their factory, and they're going to work on it. I won't have access to the rig. I won't have access to the camera gear, none of that. Everything I own will be locked up in the factory, okay? I'm not worried about it. I know all the people that are going to be working on it, so I'm not concerned. The company stands behind everything they do. If it was anybody else, I'd be worried, but I'm not. Because I know the owners. All right. So with that said, February 22nd is the last day we'll be here. So in 30 days, we will be traveling to Indiana. We have to be there by 6 a.m. March 4th for them to start to work on it. But we have to be there early so they can do a inspection on it to see what all they can find eyeball sight. Okay. So they start to work on it March 4th. Now, when that's going to get done, it could be 2 weeks to 6 weeks. So until then, y'all can work on your hat. So I want to get you going on the purdies that goes with the hat. All right. And I'm also going to throw in a couple of heart patterns to go for Valentine's Day. All right. Because we got Valentine's coming up. Y'all got to make your Valentine's heart and send it out. So with that said, let's go down here and we'll get started on this. All right. So let me flip over. And there we are. Downtown. That's what we'll call it. We'll call it downtown. The other one's uptown. This one's downtown. Now I'm going to bring it in a little closer. All right. We're going to look at this. Now this motif, after you get past this round of rings and bare thread space, then you're going to have this outer round. That's the end of it. That's the end of that motif. All right. The rest of it, if you look here, is chains that they've thrown in to tie things together. You've got these little centerpieces here that go with this little onion ring motif. And all this draws it all together. Okay. So on this, when we left class last time, Jeremy mentioned thrown rings. I can see where he's getting the thrown ring because these are chains and these rings are joining by bare thread space to these picots. But it's not really a thrown ring. So I told him to experiment with it. I can see because these rings are coming off that center picot. They're coming off the third picot and the first picot. I can see 3 thrown rings. But I also see 3 rings with bare thread space. Now, bare thread space on an article of clothing, and that means hats. If you wear it, it's article of clothing. That weakens it. That weakens the piece. So if you've got bare thread space, you want it on something that isn't messed with on a constant basis. All right, because picking up, moving it, and washing it, and all that, and with it being a hat, it's going to get a lot of washes. That bare thread space is going to wear down. It's going to break. And here you've got this beautiful center with these chains, and this is broke, and then you've got this coming off, you've lost. So if it breaks, say here or here on the pattern, up in here or down in here, you've lost that hat. So like Jeremy said, throne rings, is it throne rings or is it rings and chains? All right, Shauna says when she worked her row 10, the bare thread space is no more than any of the picots bare thread. Did it lay flat, Shauna? And have you worn it? Some people are making it to hang on their door as a piece of decorative, household decorative type thing. Huh. You can try it as the bare thread. Shauna says it'll work. And you use size 10 on yours, right? 10 is a bulkier thread. I'm thinking of the ones that's going to use the 50. That 50 is like sewing thread. Size 40. I don't know. I guess it depends on the thread itself. But I would somehow stabilize that bare thread space. And for me, I would make, just a couple of double stitches instead of the bare thread space. Jeremy wants to try the throne rings. I have no qualms. Okay. I don't argue the way that you see it. That is the designer in each person. Okay. A designer looks at this pattern and says, okay, I see a dolly. They don't see the hat. They cover the hat up. They don't see it. They see a dolly. They see curtains. They see a bedspread. So everybody looks at it from a different perspective. And that's the designer's eye. Some people will look at this and say, bet I can do that in size 80 and it's going to be super T90 small. Okay. I'm going to make a bracelet. Or they're going to break it apart and use bits and bobs of this pattern. Right. It'd be a cute purse. So you have to step outside your comfort zone. Okay. Just because it's a hat, do we want it to be a hat? Or do we want, as Arlene said, a purse, a bracelet, a jacket? Because it's basically this motif, with the center being the accents, because these center pieces are made the same way. It's just the outer row has all these extra picots to give it the frill. Okay, she thought about a couple of double stitches between each ring, but didn't know how to split chain in row 9 and continue to row 10. Okay, row 9 is the rings and bare thread space. Okay, am I right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. I totally missed a row. All right, we got the center. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10 and that's 11. All right. Shauna, if you were going to split chain, you would split chain off of one of the picots. Okay. I would split chain from the center picot. That way I would end on the first picot of the previous. Okay. And come off, split chain into a throne ring. Okay. And continue around like that. When you get to the ring that is going to branch off into the last row, that would be a split ring, mock picot into a chain. Does that make sense? Do you see that? That's what we'd have to do. Because here's the motif. This is the motif right here. All this is the motif. So if we come off right here, all right, and we made this ring off of this picot, it would line it up with that picot, okay? If we made that ring come off of here, it would line up with that picot. Because if you look at these rings, the way they're falling, okay, you've got two rings coming off the chain before, and you've got one ring in between the chains. So that would be like a floating ring in between it. As long as you got the same number of rings, you could do it. How do you get the last two chains of the base at the last split ring? Okay, you got a split ring here, okay? It's going to come off into here. And then your chain's going to go around here. You're going to follow it around, all right? And you're going to land right back here. This is the point you would not be able to climb out and go to these motifs or these chains and rings. This would be a cut and tie point. But look how much you've accomplished without cutting and tying. You see? Does that make sense? Because this last round here, you come out and do that. These are all tying this piece together. This here is this on the hat. These little doodads here, little motifs, are right here. This is the same motif that's in the center, okay? And the difference between this one and this one is this last round of onion rings is got a ton of picots. Hi, Tasneem. So you see it? These you will have to go in separate. Okay, that sounds like a plan. And we can talk about it. You know, we can work it out. That's what this class is about. And don't hesitate to ask in Sue's class. Okay, because she's going to work on diagrams in her class for this hat pattern. All right, and all she's doing is the diagram for the motif. Once you have the motif, then you can work on the hat. Yeah, I'm probably not understanding. Shauna, I'm like you, visual. Hi, Mary. So send me your diagram and we can work on it. Okay, Tasneem, that sounds like a plan. Exactly, Shauna, exactly. But share your diagram in class on the class page, and I'll get it and I'll look at it, and then we'll work it out together. Tasneem, I got a task for you. Folks, she's really been working at it. Let's task her with this. Tasneem, this round right here is rings with bare thread space. This is just chains before and chains after. We're wanting to do a split chain, split ring, mock picot type climbing out to the next round. Tell me what you would do. She's good about figuring out the hard stuff. Mary, the mock picot is hard to get it to look right. Remember, one half is flipped, the other half is not. It doesn't matter which half you flip or which half you don't, just as long as one of them lock that picot. Now she's got the chain after, no problem. Are you talking going from this chain into here or this chain into here? Or am I just totally off base? Because this is round 10, am I right? And this is round 11. Yeah, I can see that. If you're going to do split rings all around here, but I would only do one split ring coming off here to climb out to this round with a mock picot. From 9 to 10, from here to 10, right? All right, changing bare thread to chains. All right, now I'm on base. All right, I would come off here, do the 2 double stitches, go into the ring, follow it back around. When you do this last ring, okay, you've got the 2 double stitches. So what you could do, awesome, Mary, awesome. What you could do is start that off with a dead chain. Do you ever think of that? Do a dead chain, join it to that picot, do your next chain, start your round of rings and chains, okay? You come back here, then all you got to do is a split ring, pop out with a mock picot, and go right into that chain. Do you think of that, Shauna? See, that's where a dead chain really shines in its glory. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Mary, we all help each other. Trust me. Back when I did the videos for Georgia, any student that came to the classes, okay, from the videos, I had so much stash. It was unbelievable. Okay. I would sit there and I would put together a gift bag and send it to them just because they showed up for class. Yes, dead chain is another name for a floating chain. You do the mock picot. Okay, the mock picot would take the place, okay, of the little pin that you would use or paper clip, okay? Then you would start your chain. That would be your dead chain, okay? Then you would go into your ring or your next part of your chain. All right, say right here. You're coming in here, okay? We're coming in hot. We're going to come in this right here. You're going to do your 2 double stitches off of that mock picot. All right, go into this ring, do your 2 double stitches, go into that next picot, 2 double stitches, and go around. When you come back, you've got your dead chain here. Then you do your split chain here, back over to your split ring, pop it out, mock picot, go into that. Think about that, Tasneem. Or you could even do the dead chain not coming off of the mock picot. You could just leave it floating and join to it after you get all the way around. Do the dead chain, 2 double stitches, the ring, and then move from there. You got it. You got it. You got it. See, it sometimes it takes a village to raise children. Well, it takes all these tatters to figure out that. Yep, I understood it. I'm not totally blonde. I'm only blonde so far. Dennis he's growing roots. I'm serious. He's just growing roots. So, all right. So once you get this done, then you start putting it all together. You follow the instructions, you put it together. When you get these motifs done, remember this is in size 50. Okay. So it's not going to take as many motifs in size 20, size 10, because you're covering more square footage. Okay. It's like your house. Okay. You're going to hang wallpaper. Wallpaper only fits so far. You got to figure out how many wallpaper rolls you need. This is where it comes into wallpaper. Okay. You measure your circumference of your head. Okay. You measure your motif. That is why I was teaching you the exercise of making sure your tension is correct on this, because the slightest bit of movement either direction can throw this whole thing off, and you can either have a headache with the hat or lose the hat. Okay, because it's too loose. So you measure your motif after you've blocked it. You sample your motif. That's what you're doing. Measure it, block it, measure it. Then you know how much ground you can cover with this one motif. Now, you take this motif, you divide this number into your inches. Okay? Now, this pattern can stretch up to 1/2 inch or shrink 1/2 inch, depending on which way you need to go. If it needs to stretch 1/2 inch, then you want to make your motifs up to that 1/2 inch. Okay? If it needs to shrink 1/2 inch, you do your motifs up to its smaller size. Okay? Then you want to stretch it. Okay? You want to shrink it. If you want it to shrink, you put it in the dryer. Wet it, put it in the dryer. Not super hot, folks. We don't want this hat to fit a baby. Okay? We're working with cotton thread. Cotton and hot, they go. Okay? So, put it in the dryer. Let it do its shrinking. Okay? Then, get it out. Try it on your head. If it works, you spritz it just a little with water and you block it on one of those foam heads that they use for wigs. Okay? And you can get 2 of them at Amazon for like $12. You put the hat on there and you shape it. You remember I showed you earlier this mesh. Let me show you again. This mesh that goes around here. Can y'all see that? Right there. This is a plastic like tool that's on here. All right. So you get this, it'll stiffen that and give it shape. Hi, Mijo. All right. You can use that ceramic coat, okay, in a lighter form, okay, a little thinner than what comes out of the bottle. Add a little water to it, water it down, and you can coat the inside of it and it will tighten it up. Yeah, you can. This hat here has a ribbon on the inside so that you can size it. And this is a lace hat, okay? You see the ribbon right there? and you pull this ribbon. It's just in there in this little casing, okay? And you just tighten it up if you need it. So, and you can do it with just a little hat band. And then you have a summer hat. Well, we want our summer hats to be little tea hats. So we want pretty little flowers and stuff like that. So starting next week, we're going to get into some florals to go on there. In the patterns, we have poppies, okay? We have roses, we have carnations, we have all kinds of florals that we can put on our hat. If you don't want florals on it, you can put animals on it. Whatever you want to decorate your hat with. You can decorate it with florals that you get from the dollar store. Just use the flower piece. But you want it interchangeable. All right? So you're going to have to put a band on here to put our flowers on. And the band has to be removable. So you can change it out according to if you're going to the beach, or you're going to a tea party, or you're going to a luncheon. You want to be able to change it out. So you don't want your band to be a permanent attachment. Okay? So everybody got that? So starting next week, we're going to start making 3D flowers to go on our hat. And if you don't like the hat with flowers, you can make flowers, stick them in a vase, and call it a day. But you need to learn how to make 3D stuff. All right? Because that just brings tatting to another dimension. All right? So let me switch the camera. All right. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. So does everybody understand what we're doing with the hat pattern? You're going to measure. Remember? Block your piece. Once you get your piece blocked, you know how much space you're going to need to go around your head. You're going to measure your circumference, where that hat's going to rest here, all the way around to the back. So you want a dressmaker's tape measure. Okay? And you measure your hat. Okay? Remember, it will stretch or shrink a 1/2 inch either direction. Whichever you need it to do, because it's cotton thread. There is a different thing you have to do for each way you need to go. Okay? Add heat if you want it to shrink. Add nothing if you want it to get bigger other than water so that you can stretch it. Okay? So there you go. Any questions? Other than where did I get my little silicone beads? And my husband's in there snoring. Can you tell? It's been a rough 2 days. He's been extra busy at work too. So we have any questions? What about row 12 to attach the band to? Let's see. All right. Surround this medallion with a double cloverleaf border as follows. All right. That's this border right here. Okay. On the edge and here. Same here. It's the ring and chain cloverleaf. Okay. This up here, excuse me, I'm wrong. Smack me. Okay, this is your cloverleaf border. It's up here at the top of the hat. You can draw that in if you need to. You can adjust your stitch counts if you need to draw it in. Do not adjust your picots on this because it's making the cup. Okay? But you can adjust your stitches at the top if you need to. Nobody's head's the same size. Depends on how many brains you got. Just saying. If you got lots of brain, you got a big head. If you got little brains, you got a little head. That's what I used to tell my kids. You know, they believed it. Yeah, it's all this is confusing. It really is confusing. You know, I have many. You do too. Yeah, and how thick your hair is. Oh, Lord. Nightmares with thick hair. All right. It is confusing, but I'm going to tell you the trick, Katia. Focus on only your counts. All the added 411 that they're putting in there, null and void it. Okay? Okay, Katia, it's terrible. I can't make any sense of it as I can't get a good view of it. You can't. You really can't. What they're talking about is this up here at the top. Row 12 is this up here. You're starting with this medallion, center of the hat, and you're coming down. You're not starting here. Okay? So that's what row 12 is. This here is a netting stitch, it looks like. But this, if you look, here you've got the clovers coming down, and you're going to meet this netting stitch and then into clovers. Look close at it, up here at the top. If you get to that point, don't let it stress you, walk away, okay? But the best way I have found with these vintage patterns, they word them. They're too wordy. They do a lot of word salad with it, okay? All you're interested in is your counts, okay? The filler is the little medallions here, the chain that goes around, it just intertwines, okay? And you've got all these little embellishes that goes along with the pattern. Well, that's where you can tighten up or stretch out. Those can aid you in sizing. All right. So when you get to here, what you've got here is right here. Okay. You're going to come out to here. See this right here? And then you're going to do this. That's all up here. Then you're going into round 12, which is the clover up here. Then that clover's coming down to the netting here. Okay. And then you're going to do another round of clovers. Well, these clovers are going to drop down into here with, let's see what that is. That's another clover. Okay. And these clovers are connecting to these clovers. Yeah, it's mirrored. 12 and 13 are mirrored. Okay. And that's going to leave all these little gaps. Now, if you need tightness on that for it to fit your head, you've got these gaps to play with. You can draw it in by tightening up on those stitches. If it says it wants 3 stitches, you can back it off to 2. Drop 1 stitch on each one of your clover leaves, okay, or 2 stitches or whatever you need, okay, and draw it in. This here, this section from here to here, you're going to eat up a lot of thread. There's no way around it. You're going to eat up a lot of thread. So be prepared, because you've got to get it right so it fits you. Otherwise, hang it on the door and make it pretty and call it a statement piece. You're right, Katia. It's not. Because they made it to suit them. They added to or they took away from. Okay? But the bare bones pattern is right here. You see? And a lot of times that happens in the older patterns. The picture looks like it's supposed to be, but they modified it and forgot to write it in. How many times have y'all bought patterns off of Etsy and have that problem? Show of hands. Because it was not test tatted. They just made it, created it, put it out there, and they forgot an entire roll. Okay, and you're sitting there going, and I'm supposed to connect this to what? It's not there. And then you look at the picture, it looks nothing like it. Okay, so given that, remember, back in the day, they didn't have test tatters. We will not talk about the vintage pattern that the picture and the pattern did not match. Okay, we won't. But I am talking even today's patterns. You get somebody that creates a pattern, puts it up on Etsy. They did not have it tested. You cannot test your own patterns, folks. Don't think you can, because you know exactly what direction you're wanting to go. You need an outside eye to look at your patterns to get them tested. But Etsy, they don't care. They just put it up there and they say, okay, this pattern's done. It's for sale. Okay. And then you go and buy it. And some of these patterns, now I have bought patterns for like $14, $15 and go to start tatting on them and get so far. And it's like, okay, this is not matching up to what I'm doing. And then I look at the picture and there we go. It's skipped a row or two. Okay. That happens on those untested patterns. Yeah, $45. So, you know, and that's just something that happens. Okay. And this was not tested. We're rewriting this. So that means we can accommodate us. Right. Harola is a designer. She's got a whole series on snowflakes. Some of the prettiest snowflakes you ever laid your eyes on. She's done Monster Doily. Both of Jan's Monster Doilies, his Mega and his Monster. Okay. She's done the Mystery Doily, the Spencer Doily. So she knows what it is to design. She knows what it is to make mistakes. Okay. And that's what we're doing, is we're designing this pattern for today's language. Okay. Sue's going to help you all diagram just the motif. All right. We got to figure out the rest of this using these instructions. Okay. But remember this. If you don't remember anything else from this class, you can change your stitch counts, because these stitches are from 1922. Thread back in 1922 ain't the thread we're using today. It wasn't wound the same as it is today. It didn't have the twist that it has today. So there is a lot of facets by redoing this pattern that you have not considered in any of this. You all are focused on the counts. those counts can deviate by as many as 6 stitches per round. Only because things back in the 20s was different than they are in, well, 1920s, than they are in the 2020s, 100 years later. You see? When you look at a diagram, which way do you go? Okay. That depends on what you're tatting. One, the designer will usually tell you go this way. They'll have an arrow pointing that way. But most patterns flow left to right, unless they're written by a left-handed tatter. Then they flow right to left. Exactly, Mijo. The netting stitch up here on the top, if you look close at this section right here, it looks like a net, a fishing net. That's the netting stitch. And they call it the mignonette. Okay. Another one of those. Got 5 names. Okay. But it's basically a netting stitch. Same question about netting. Yeah. That's this little piece up here. Wait a minute, let me get my finger on it. This right here, this section, it looks like a net. Yeah, it's just chains. That's all it is. Don't let it scare you. It's just chains. But it depends on the designer what they call it. Everybody has their own terms. Trust me. Back when, a couple of years ago, I want to say, maybe even longer, Teresa can attest to this. They had a term sheet that was 11 pages long. Okay. A lot of those terms were duplicates of other terms, just named differently. Catherine will join, blipless join, backwards join, upside down join. I mean, they all got 15 names. That's why I say on the original videos I did for Georgia, one of the things that she told me, when you cut this video, you do your research and see how many names that technique has and share those names. Take the confusion out of it. So I did. And some of them I'd sit there for 5 minutes listing names of that same technique. All right, you're right-handed and you want to tat right to left. Okay. That, you know, Marianne, it's up to you what you're comfortable with. There's no set in stone anything about tatting other than the double stitch. Did you not know that? The double stitch is the only thing you need to know about tatting. The rest is frill. Because back in the day, all they did was rings, bare thread space. They didn't join the way they joined from one motif to the next. They took a piece of leftover thread and tied a knot. And you'd see all these little fuzzies all over their doilies. In your opinion, whatever you want to, especially if it's a round piece. Yeah, if it's a round piece, you go what direction you're comfortable with. There are right-handed people that tat left-handed. There's left-handed people that tat right-handed. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. That just, oh, my heart just did a flip-flop. I taught somebody the flip. Prayers for you, Tasneem. You stay safe, hon. So, but that's what I'm saying. Okay. Everybody tats differently. Everybody designs differently. Everybody has their own way of doing things. But the double stitch is all you have to know to say you know how to tat. Everything else is frill. Okay? We have come a long way, baby. Remember that motto? I think it was a cigarette commercial. We've come a long way, baby. We now have real joins. We've got chains. We've got uniformity. Okay? So let's look at the way we have evolved in tatting. It has come a long way and made it easier for us. We can't help it that people want to name it 5 different things. The chances are it's the same technique with 5 different names. How do you keep from doing that when you're in a pattern? Let me see if I can't find my right drawer. There's a couple of ways you can do it. First of all, Post-it notes. Those work. Highlighter, pen. You can get flags. I think I've got some flags in here. Let's see. Yeah, I got some flags. These are flags. You stick them, mark your place. Okay? You can mark all over that pattern. Just don't mark in a book. In a book, little trick. I got one of these years ago. It finally died. Okay? I know you've seen them little tiny clips, clothespins. Okay? You seen them in the craft store? That glued to a popsicle stick makes the best bookmark and place saver for tatters it ever was. And you just clip it on there, and that bookmark lines up where you left off. That's fine, Sherry. That's fine. I did want to show you what that looked like. You was asking earlier. You see it? Let me get it around here for you. This is the varnish that you was wanting to know about on the YouTube. That's it. Does that help you? And the bottles can look either way. It just depends on the store. Yeah, put it in a sheet protector, mark on it, get an erasable marker. Okay. There's many ways to keep up with your pattern. All right. I'm glad you got it. Glad you got it. Yeah, you're right. You know the bread trays you get at the Dollar Tree? They're little. 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper fit perfect in them. And they do hold magnets. So see, if there's ingenuity, there is a way. And we can walk it through. Okay, so next week, 3-dimensional flowers. Sue's working on leaves for the pattern. She's working on some leaves to you. All these. Yeah, Dollar Tree, all of them have it. Dollar Tree has packets. Yeah, I've done that. But now that I'm on the rig, Dennis says I have to, slow down on the paper clutter. Guilty. I'm guilty. So, but yeah, I want you guys to finish this up. Okay. When you get to this section here and you're having problems, let me know. I'll help you walk through it. Okay. But next week we want to work on our decor for our little hat. Okay. And don't forget that plastic looking tool stuff is in where the wedding stuff is. And it's what they use to wrap the arbors and stuff that they use in weddings. And it's a plastic, but it's a stiff plastic. It's not like regular tool you'd put on clothing. This is decor tool, I guess is what they call it. I'm not sure. But it's in the wedding section. And it comes, you can get it like this to this to this. You don't need much. Okay. And you can also use the varnish and it will stiffen it for you. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. I think we have the split ring rows in the patterns where you do all the split rings and roll the rows up. Good night, dear B. So, with that said, I wish you all a great rest of your week. I will see you next Tuesday, 3 o'clock, early class. May all your threads make beautiful lace. And happy tatting, everyone. Yeah, I've got it. I don't know if it's on the site yet, but I'll dig it out, put it up on the site. I got a bunch I got to put up on the site this week. You all too. Stay safe, stay warm, especially stay warm. I know there's some storms coming through. Y'all, please don't mess with storms. Stay home and tat. And I'll see y'all next week. Happy tatting, everyone. Bye-bye.